Hello everyone, welcome back to another video, and today I just want to start this video off by saying thank you for all subscribing, thank you all for sharing, and thank you all for viewing. It's really making my day. But without a further ado, we're gonna go over, a couple of car reviews. Our first car on the list, I thought I just wouldn't move because it's a pretty good spot, no one's around. It is the DTomaso Pantera, I think. I'm not going to go over whatever the other car was, the El Camino. I don't like it. That's why I sold it a bunch of times for a lot of cash. But we're going to go over the DTomaso Pantera. If you've ever seen the Pantera, yes, it has a very minimalist design. Looks a lot like the Countach. You can see that in the wing. Kind of see it in the body shape from back here. Lights, these do look like they should pop up, but they don't, sadly. It's very smooth, like this car. It wasn't really meant for aerodynamics. That's why there are very few. It looks kind of like a blocky kind of shape. You can tell where there was like an attempt to cool the engine, but this will be our first, like, the cheap car, and the sound is quite good. That just gives an essence of NASCAR kind of sound. But then this sound feels more like it belongs to like a Veyron or Chiron. But this car, it feels like it matches the car very well. As I said, the lights don't pop up. So sad. It accelerates. Let's just do that again. The acceleration on this thing is nasty. There's 60, there's 100, and then we get to our top speed quite quickly. It's not very fast, but hey, if you got this during the Halloween update, then good for you, because it's not that bad. I think they're playing audios. So on this car, in basic, it was really just meant to because the community really wanted the car. And there's a lot put into this car. I honestly, I own a lot of cars. I've owned a lot of cars per se, because I sold a bunch of them and then bought some back. This car just doesn't come across to me as a car that I would, buy with cash. But if it's with pumpkins, yeah, I'll do it with pumpkins. With the El Camino, I wouldn't buy it either way, so that's why I don't have it. Interior, kind of minimalist. How the, late 1900s, how it was. How it do, how it be, how it were. And so yeah, the interior doesn't really have much. With a lot of the more modern cars in the game, there's an obvious the interior is obviously kind of separated from the engine, so the engine sound isn't as prominent. This car, yeah, you get every single bit of it. But I won't let that take it away. It is supposed to be an old car, and that it does well. It does that well. You can tell this car is more meant for drag as well, because the skinny front tires, big fat back tires. Oh yeah, love me a drag car. But on a 9 out of, on a 0 to 10 scale, I'd put it at probably 6 or 7. It's definitely not the best car in the Halloween update. Definitely not the worst. Let's get to the next one. Our next car on the docket, on the list, on the playlist, it's the Mercedes CLK GTR. Oh no, there's a gathering. We're not gonna go over there. This car, It is my favorite by far, and I'm just going to go ahead and tell you it's a 10 out of 10. My goodness, what are they playing over there? This car is very much designed for track. You can tell because it takes tight corners, does very well in the circuit race, where I have beaten a good few Apollo IEs, the best now that the, the best at the circuit race now that the Zonda R is gone. Engine sound, quite nice. The car, if you watch videos on it, is quite high pitched. Let's get out a minute to look at this model. It does look quite accurate. The wing light does work, so that's a new thing. This top lip right here does, exude. It kind of does have this kind of fat, kind of, out of place look, and that's true on the actual car. Grill's quite, well designed. Put on the car nicely. Do like how it does kind of fit there. You can tell this was like a Lego putting it together. You just kind of click that right there. The lights, if you back up, there's a tiny little light up there. I'm assuming the blinker. There's the large light right there, and then lights right there. That is accurate, and I do like that. Air duct, you can see, does have some depth. Yes, you can't really depict it going all the way back because it does just transition into the engine. So I do like it. It does have some depth. The back, very well designed. Grates right here. Very well done. You have that little hook, but just in case it crashes and they need to tow it, or I don't know what it does. I'm guessing that's its purpose. The doors are really accurate. They're tiny on the actual car. You can see a lot of air ducts. That is true on the actual car, mainly because for aerodynamics. And look, this car smiles. You've got to be happy about that one. But my favorite part of the car is this setup. You know how a lot of cars, like from the 1980s, 1990s, will have that kind of engine kind of start turning sound, like that. Before the engine goes like that, that's sort of like, stutter. A lot of 80s and 90s cars have that, and so that is quite accurate. My only issue with this car is the fact that the back wheels and front wheels, for that matter, do get stuck quite often. But otherwise, I can't complain about this car. It looks great, it is great, and does what it's supposed to do. It gets fast track times. But as per usual, we have one car left. Our final car is going to be the F1, the most expensive and the most exciting car that we got. Not exciting because, it's fast or anything. Exciting because it had been gone for a long, long time. You may not know this, but I do remember this because I did play when the game first came out. I played for a bit. The F1 was in the game. I learned that it got remeshed into the Senna GTR, which is a mistake to mankind in this game. But we won't talk about it. It may be embarrassing, but we won't have to talk about it. But let's go ahead and get ahead with the car review. Car sound, yes, it has the same as the CLK. There are some videos with this car having a high-pitched sound, but those are quite rare. The model, let's go ahead and get out and look at this thing. Looks very well done. There are some parts, if I sit in the middle seat through these little, cracks right here, you can see my body, but, you can't really just make a car have mass like that, or it'll completely screw up the game. Makes the cars work much better for like mobile. This back, very well done. I do like the grills here. There are some games that actually don't have that. That's a good addition. You can see where there might have been an idea for like for a fin here, a spoiler, but spoiler alert, that didn't happen. You can see here there were a lot of like air ducts to feed air to the engine over here. You can see where that air would come in right there with the very unnoticeable scoop from the side and back. The interior, quite well done. This car really wasn't a car meant to drive around. It was a car built for the speed. The McLaren F1 was the fastest car at one point for a good while. But the main thing is that startup. And that alone already gives it a 5. Acceleration past 60, really, it's quite quick to its top speed. Not lightning fast like, the Tesla, the Porsche 918 Spider, but it's still pretty quick. For that reason, I give it I'd say an 8. There are some things about it, like I said, the sound. I remember most of the time the F1 has a much throatier growl, more of like a kind of like that. But, beggars can't be choosers, right? Only other reason this doesn't get a 9 is just because 15,000 pumpkins took me a really long time to get. And it was really boring. So, yeah, I didn't really care for this. As soon as I got it and I realized, oh yeah, this car isn't, too amazing. Speed-wise, it doesn't really have much of a use because everyone got it pretty quickly, so it's not rare. So, yeah, there is kind of a feeling that this car was, played the wrong hand. This car should have been pretty rare, maybe put it up much higher, because it's pretty uneventful when you see 10 of these in the same server. But anyways, let's get on to the conclusion. In conclusion, as I said earlier at the start of this video, my favorite car is the CLK GTR. My only complaint is the tires are quite finicky. And it just feels kind of very loose, and I feel like a track car like this is very tight. The F1, I feel like, was played a dirty hand. As I said, it should have been more rare, maybe more expensive with pumpkins. A major problem that I saw with the update is people would just grind for pumpkins and then sell the El Camino. Then they bumped down the price of the El Camino, but it was still just as overpowered as it was before. People are also grinding the Pantera. That's why it went from a 254K selling price to a 120 something. I don't remember what it was at first, but it was a lot more than it is now. This is exactly what I was talking about. And this, I don't really have that many complaints. I feel like this car, maybe the sound just feels more like a different car. Although the sound is very accurate, it does feel like it is more of a Veyron kind of sound, kind of a low revving, low speed Veyron. But in conclusion, the Halloween update was really successful, brought in a lot of players, reinvigorated the game, and prepared people for the massive Thanksgiving break update. I'm not guaranteeing the update will be on, at some point during Thanksgiving break. Borges has said it's planned for Thanksgiving break. It doesn't guarantee it. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. But anyways, I do hope you enjoy. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for all the recent support. It's amazing. Love coming into games, and I just love seeing people be like, oh my goodness, it's Arthur YT. I watch you on YouTube. It just really makes me happy that I'm finally being noticed for my, effort that I put into my YouTube channel. But anyways, you know, like I said, continue to share, continue to subscribe, and I'll see you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.